You're listening to All in the Industry, an independent podcast dedicated to behind-the-scenes talent in the hospitality industry, hosted and produced by me, Sherry Bayer. Since initially launching in 2014, we have broadcast more than 400 episodes, and now we're excited to be on our new platform. To learn more, visit allintheindustry.com. Support for this episode comes from the Institute of Culinary Education, ICE. To learn more, visit ice.edu today. That's ice.edu. Well, hello, welcome to All in the Industry. I'm your host and producer, Sherry Bayer, and today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025, and this is our 407th episode of this series, which is dedicated to behind-the-scenes talent in the hospitality industry. Today, my guest is an outstanding chef and restaurateur who's based in my hometown of Miami, and I will introduce her fully in a moment. But first, as I do in every show, I will start out with my PR tip, and then later we will have my speed round game, industry news about the upcoming South Beach Wine and Food Festival, which is taking place this weekend, and I'm going to be down there, and I know my guest is going to be involved as well. So we'll be talking about that, and then I also have my solo dining experience in the final question. As the founder of Bayer Public Relations, I'm going to tip the show off with my PR tip of the week. So today's tip is to smile. And by this, I mean to smile genuinely. Smiling is not only infectious and can help brighten a room, but a warm smile can be just what someone needs to get through the day. And smiling has many benefits, from lifting moods to relieving stress and making us feel calmer and happier, as well as boosting our immune systems. And in business, sincere smiles can help build rapport, relationships, and trust, helping to create positive work environments and improve productivity and performance. So let's remember to turn our frowns upside down and smile from the heart, as a real smile is everything. That's my tip today. Okay, so I'm thrilled to be joined with my guest today, who's someone I've known for a long time, who's become a friend in the industry, someone I've greatly admired, and it's about time she's come on the show. And she has an amazing smile. It is Michelle Bernstein. She's a James Beard Award-winning chef and restaurateur who's born and raised in Miami of Jewish and Latinx descent. Michelle is a fixture in the culinary world, both in restaurant kitchens and in the media spotlight, along with her husband, partner, David Martinez. Her restaurants, bars, and concepts include recently revived Senora Martinez, Cafe La Trova, Sweet Liberty, La Canita, and Michelle Bernstein Catering. Michelle hosts 2 TV shows, Check Please, South Florida, and the Emmy Award-winning production So Flow Taste, plus makes regular appearances on a lot of other wonderful TV programs, including Top Chef and Chopped. Without further ado, because I could go on and on, Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hey, Sherry. Thanks for inviting me. Finally, I've been wanting you to for so long. I love that you finally brought me in, so thank you so much.
Well, I'm so glad we're finally doing this, because I feel like, how have we not done this show yet? Because you're certainly someone that I've always wanted to have on the show. So I'm glad we're making it happen now.
And we have more to talk about, so this is good.
You have so much to talk about. You have so much going on. And as I try to do my intro and get in a lot of the highlights, but as I said, I could have gone on and on. You've accomplished so much.
It's a bit of a run-on sentence these days.
Well, actually, and I want to know how you do it all. I'm always fascinated with people I know who have so much more going on, it seems, than even I do, even though I keep quite busy. But let's get into it. So take me back a bit to your background and what inspired you to become a chef and get into this culinary world that we're in.
Well, at the beginning, I was born here in South Florida to a beautiful and incredibly delicious cook Martha Bernstein. And my dad was from Minneapolis, Minnesota. They met because my father decided to go to Uruguay to see where a lot of the Ukrainian and Austrian Bernsteins had gone to. Some sadly perished because of the Holocaust, but some made it through and eventually went. A couple of them landed in Minnesota, but the rest of them went to Uruguay, which is probably smarter because it's warmer there. And my mother, who was 5 generations from Buenos Aires, Argentina, was vacationing in Uruguay in the very beautiful Punta del Este, Point of the East. And so they met, they fell in love, and the rest is history. And so my sister and I were brought up here in South Florida. At 3, I knew I wanted to be a professional dancer. That is all I ever wanted. And that's really all I did. And so I worked to that. I loved school, but I loved dance even more. And so my mom, I don't know how she finagled it. She figured out a way to get me to finish my studies early so that I could go and dance about 8 to 10 hours a day after high school and after middle school. And so my whole life was really just revolving around dance. It's all I can really remember much from my childhood for some reason. Great fun and, of course, family. But for me, it was always like, when am I going to get to the studio to dance? And so as soon as I graduated, I took off to New York and I danced. And I didn't do as well as I thought, and everybody thought I would. I did some stints with Alvin Ailey. I did some stints with ABT, but I was always told that my body was more of a, let's just say they asked me if I was interested in going to Vegas. So I didn't have, I didn't have long legs. I didn't have that long structure. So sadly, the eggplant figure of the nice Jewish woman prevails. And I came back home with my, tail between my legs. And I thought, okay, what's next? And so I went to college. I studied my second love, which was really science and nutrition. And after graduating, my mom was in the kitchen and she looks at me. She's like, now what? What are you going to do, Bernstein? It's like, I have no idea. And she said, well, there's this culinary school opening, believe it or not, down the block called Johnson and Wales. And, not like you're going to be a chef or anything like that, because I don't think that's what you want. But maybe you can combine the nutrition, the science with the food and do something that you love. And maybe one day you'll even write a book or be on TV. Who knows? So I walked into the culinary school and I got these butterflies like I had when I was trying out for ballet. And that was it. The rest was history. I was treated badly. I was usually the only female, sadly, in the kitchen. I had to fight to find a position in every kitchen I worked in. I had to fight to be heard, which I never really was. Not that you are in kitchens, but I just wanted more. I wanted more of an education. I wanted to learn more. I wanted a chance, and it took about 5 years for anyone to really let me work on a hotline. I was always stuck in pantry, which women always were, if there were any. And so it was really hard to find a bond with the chefs, with anyone really, and with the kitchen. So it took me a long time to really fit in, but I found this, I guess, like this strength, and a fight in myself that I never knew existed, that I had when I was dancing a bit, but I wish I had more of it, which I found when I was in these professional kitchens. And I finally insisted. I found a power. I worked 10 extra hours a day. I would work until I literally was falling over. I worked hundreds of hours a week. I don't even know. I don't think I slept more than 3 hours a night back then. I would come in the early morning shift without pay, of course. And then I'd work through lunch and then I'd come back at night. I'd go take a shower, come back to work the night shift, which was really my shift. Right. And I had to force them, the other cooks, to acknowledge me and to finally have respect for me.
Wow. I mean, so much drive. And no, I love your dance background. I was thinking your mom must be very proud.
She was. She's not with us anymore, but she was very proud. I wanted her to be even more proud of me because, you can never get enough. Especially, I think it's the Latin heritage where you just want your parents to, want to, I guess, what, I think it's only in my own mind what I think that they expected of me. But yes, they were very proud. very much so.
Yeah, I'm sure. And wow, what drive you had and have. And
Have.
so have, yeah.
I have more drive and passion than I do talent. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, I've had your food and I know you and I've been to your restaurants. You're extremely talented. So you're maybe a little humble, but
Trust me. You got to be
yeah,
honest with
you know
yourself,
yourself.
right? And I know. Yeah.
Well, but when you're going back to this history of starting in kitchens and really like making your way, proving yourself and like fighting for your chance if or like to be noticed or to get places. And this is like we're going back to the 90s or
Well, I started culinary school in 93. And so, yeah, I finished a couple years in because I already had a college degree. And so I worked here in Miami for years. And then I went off to Mark Militello, who I worked for a really long time. I'm not sure if you remember him, but
I
he
remember
was
the name.
one of the first guys that really, I mean, his food was so good. And he really, had a name for himself here in South Florida. And then he sent me off to New York. He sent me to DC. That's how I worked with Jean-Louis Paladin. And then from there, he sent me to go work with Eric Repair. And from there, I went to Europe because I really wanted to learn technique in France. In Paris, I had a really hard time and nobody would really let me in the kitchens. So I went to the south of France where they were a little softer and kinder to me and they allowed me to work. And so I really fell in love with the kind of the seafood down in the south of France, in Provence and all that. And so I really got some really great techniques that I still use today. Well, I guess I'll use my whole career. And then I got the bug to travel. And then I just kept going. And when I eventually, years later, got the job as the chef of Azul at the Mandarin Oriental, which really, to me, was my big break, they started to send me all over Asia so that I could not teach, but show off the kind of Latin little touches that I did in my food. I didn't know how much people in Hong Kong loved Latin food. And Malaysia, they went crazy and they dance salsa better than we do. And then I would go to Thailand and they loved the flavors because it kind of connected to them because it has this kind of Caribbean feel, right? And so I ended up just traveling and learning so much. I'll never forget. I took my mom with me to that trip to Asia and we were gone for a long time. And we found ourselves one night because they eat late on the streets of Kuala Lumpur. And we were sitting, she was kind of fancy. She worked at Chanel and she was sitting on a milk crate eating fish head curry out of a big old pot. And they were making the flatbreads against the drum of a hollowed out can that was maybe used for garbage can. And she's drinking hot goat's milk out of this metal cup. And I'm looking at this beautiful, fancy woman that everybody's fallen in love with because she had this great white hair and she had that beautiful smile and hazel eyes. And I was like, okay, this is pretty incredible. Like, I'll never forget this moment for the rest of my life. But then they took me in the kitchens and they taught me how to make this fish head curry. And it landed on one of my menus years later. And I realized through travel and learning the culture primarily of all these different places that I had been and learning the people, you get to learn their flavor. And I brought that flavor with me. And I think that's really what energized my career and my culinary steps forward. It's pretty cool.
It's amazing. It's very cool. So when
Yeah.
did you meet? I think I know this, but when did you meet your husband, David? And then when did you decide that you were going to open your own restaurant?
So I met David opening week of the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. We hadn't yet opened the restaurant, and he was coming to be a server at Azul, the restaurant where I was. And I thought he was adorable, and we just were friends. I never really, when I was working, my head is always down, and so I don't really think about anything but that. And we were working together a lot, and he was actually training to be one of the managers. And one day he looks at me and he said, "Hey, you want some help cleaning those sardines?" And I was like, "You want to help me clean sardines? It's one of the nastiest things ever." And then I thought, oh my God, could he possibly like me? And so he came in the kitchen because I never think anybody likes me. And he helped me he kind of helped me clean sardines. I mean, it wasn't really his thing, but he helped and he was there. And from that moment on, we stuck. And so it's been 25 years together.
Wow.
20, we're actually celebrating our 20th marriage, wedding anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. I don't let him leave. I'm locked up at the house.
I love that it started with sardines. Who knew?
Who knew? And then about 5 years later, in 2005, we opened Mishy's. And so we, happened past this little tiny available restaurant. We had a partner in Steve Perricone, who was a really important restaurateur here in South Florida and a dear friend. And he's like, I'll help you guys do it. Let's do it. And we tried to build our own, but you know how that happens. First time restaurant owners not knowing a thing, trying to build in Miami. We were trying to build waterfront. And the whole deal fell apart, but we stayed partners. And I have to tell you, I think in foresight, it was actually a blessing because we were going to spend money that none of us, well, maybe Steve had, but we definitely had never done anything like that before. And I think it was kind of good to open in an existing little space, trying to figure out how to run a restaurant, right? As owners.
I remember going.
You remember Mishy's?
Yeah, I remember going. I mean, I think my experience, I've been to a lot of your restaurants over the years. I think all of them.
I know you have. Yeah, you've been great.
I'm a fan. And I usually bring my
Didn't
parents.
you come with your parents?
Yeah. They're based in Miami. They don't dine out like I do. But when I come down, they're always up for it. And we were there. I remember going with my parents and like finding the location and very special.
Listen, it was in a funky, which is not so longer funky now, is of course trendy, but in a very funky part of Miami. And actually a very, very famous food writer, who had chosen me for a big award before that, came into Mishy's and said this was the biggest mistake of your career.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was just because listen, my sister helped me design it. We designed it after our Barbie doll homes that we used to create under our mom's dining room table. And it was a little bit hokey, right? And it was very 70s in style. Orange and royal blue were the colors. And we had these mother of pearl lights of the shells, the capiz shells.
Yeah,
everywhere. And it was a lot.
It
was a lot. Some people actually, it kind of made some people angry. Some men came in, they were like, oh my God, I can't sit here for whatever reason, but I loved it and I was proud of it. And it was my first, and it was where we did a lot of right and a lot of wrong. You learn from your mistakes, right? I mean, we learned a lot from Mishy's. And that's why I was saying, thank goodness we opened this small space in this existing restaurant space. And yes, of course, it cost us to open, but not like that other huge space that we were planning because we didn't know what we were doing yet, and Steve kind of taught us along the way. We thought we knew everything and we ended up knowing very little, but man, did we learn through that restaurant. And through that came Senora Martinez, the first iteration, the OG.
I remember going to as well. And that was Michael's Genuine was, I think, the only other restaurant in that neighborhood.
Michael Schwartz was the only other chef that had a restaurant. Well, actually,
maybe a couple places, but
there were a couple places, not like well-known restaurants, but well-known chefs that had like little startups near the area. Lorena Garcia actually had a little place really close by, but she had already closed. But it was just a little lunch. Everybody had lunch places because it was not known for, nobody used to hang out in the area.
Yeah.
There were no stores there.
Right. Yeah.
It was before its time. And so, Senora opening was crazy. It was an old post office and it was beautiful. Again, my sister designed it. And we actually started getting so busy and not realizing, by the way, the kitchen was the size of a small bathroom stall. We ended up having to rent a space across the street in the building across the street. We called it Cuba. You got to go to Cuba to prep.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit of ways and we did all our prep there. We ended up opening Crumb there, our little lunch space, just so that we could prep for Senora Martinez there. It was wild.
Wow. I didn't know that, but you had,
Nobody did.
Yeah, you had a good run there.
We had a great run.
That's
We
the
had a great
time
run.
also you got the James Beard Award around that time, the Best Chef South. I think, I have it here, 2008.
2008, which was the year we opened Senora. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So,
Yeah, so
and I remember going too, and it was fantastic, and it was such a special space. It was cool.
it was great. It was really great. There was an energy there, um, just a natural, organic energy. It was a beautiful space, but everybody wanted spaces, and sadly, they sold the building, and it's the same thing that happened to us at Mishy's. The building was way outside of our range, and they sold the building, and they triple netted our lease, our rent. And so,
Yeah, I hear these
second time,
stories.
yeah, it
All
happens,
the time.
but again, we learn from every
Right.
time we step back, I feel like we take 2 steps forward. At least it feels that way looking in retrospect. I mean, it might not have at the time, it was heartbreaking for us, but you pick yourself up, right? And you dust yourself off, and you learn, and you keep going.
100%. So just to jump ahead, why
Yep.
did you decide to bring Senora Martinez back now? Because I did just go to your revival. Now you're in Coral Gables, but there was a break of I think a dozen
12.
years. Yeah.
12, exactly 12. Yeah. Yeah. So Senora's the one that got away. Senora's the one, it's funny. The one thing David always says to me is, Michelle, the one thing you taught me is never to look back, right? And never to say, what if, why didn't we, and can we go back in time? But this was the only one that we felt like kind of got away from us. And it was an energy that we wanted to bring back because we wanted to live it again. We wanted to experience it. We wanted to work it, and we wanted to bring it to the city of Coral Gables. It's a beautiful town. This is so pedestrian friendly, which we wanted Design District back then to be. Now it is. Now it's more so even. And we wanted to make it, obviously, that was 12 years ago. The design is totally different. We dreamt of working with Thomas Schlesser, who, by the way, designed a lot of the restaurants for, the group that owns Publican in Chicago.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. And
Yes, he
One-Off
designed
Hospitality.
Publican.
Yeah.
They've got Violet Hour. They've got Blackbird. Anyway,
Yeah, beautiful restaurant.
Incredible. So we had fallen in love with Thomas's design, and we said, if we're going to do it, let's go all the way. And so Thomas designed this beautiful restaurant for us. As you can see, the lighting in the back, it's just gorgeous. I have little honeycomb lanterns, but this is kind of like where we are today, right? This is the grown-up Senora Martinez, which I am Senora Martinez, and I've grown up quite a bit. Not yet an Alta Cocker, but I'm getting there. And so this is the more mature. I've lived a million lives through these 12 years where I've traveled and I've cooked in different places, and I've soaked up all this, incredible knowledge about cooking and eating. And we eat healthier today, which the food is a little bit healthier here than it was back then. I had no stopping me in using a ton of butter and lard and whatever I could. It was delicious. It is delicious. And I still cook with all the goodness, but now I cook the way I eat, and I'm a lot more careful, but I love more powerful flavors and spices and marinades and techniques. And so we brought it all here. We got a gorgeous Maya Forno oven, a wood burning oven, and it's massive. And we do all kinds of our proteins in there. And it's just fun. The bar is huge. It has its own life. I'm pointing over there because that's where it is.
Yeah.
And it really has its own world. And we made it large enough so people could nibble and eat. I have the chef de cuisine, Andy Gilbert, actually was our sous chef at Senora Martinez, and how he's grown. And he had a restaurant here in the Gables called Seven Dials, and he is English, and I've never had better fish and chips. And I made him put it on my menu. He's probably sorry he did, because we sell so many a night.
Well,
but,
wait. It's called, though, because I had it, the only fish and chips you'll ever need. I mean, you got to sell at least one at every table just with that name, right?
My God, it's crazy. It's so crazy. And
it's delicious.
And you could just really sit at the bar and have that, or We have these gorgeous steaks. When you were here, you came a little early. We're a little better now, but we have actually we have a meat locker. Our walk-in meat locker is where we age, and we cut off pieces of the meat every night to grind to make our now burger that we're only selling at the bar. Unless, of course, you ask really nicely, and then maybe we'll sell it to you in the restaurant. And so you can have that at the bar. And it's just, you know what? It's fun. We have live music. This venue actually used to be called The Stage. And so we have a stage, and we built a new stage, and we have live entertainment almost every night now. We will eventually have it every night. And the music's constantly changing. And so is the energy in here. And it's just beautiful.
It is beautiful. And that's actually something I wanted to mention about the live music, because I've also been to Cafe La Trova, which I feel that whole concept centers, or music is a large part of, I don't know, the food, the music.
It's the most important part of it. No, you got it. Listen, if it wasn't for the music and the energy at La Trova would be nothing. Yes, there's yummy Latin food. There's incredible cocktails. There is the personality of Julio Cabrera behind the bar, the famous cantinero bartender. But without music, and I hate to say it, but La Trova is the name of this incredible bar in Cuba that brought Celia Cruz and Buena Vista Social Club, and it is a style of the music. And so without that music, we'd be nothing. It's amazing. The music's amazing there.
Yeah, no, it is. And the combination, the music, the food, the drinks, like it's all happening. It all works.
It works together.
It really does. Yeah. And so how are you managing all of this? Because you have multiple restaurants. Some, I think, you're consulting more on Sweet Liberty. You do the food menu there, but that's more of a
my husband's a partner at Sweet Liberty. They also own Medium Cool, another bar that's very cool in South Beach, and we're opening actually a dinner club also in South Beach very soon.
And
then La Cañita, which we opened in Bayside. We just opened in Kendall last week, and now we're opening another one in South Beach. And then I have a kitchen that I work out of in Newport Beach, California, because I work as a consulting chef there. I'm going to shut up now. But anyway,
it's amazing. And also growing up in Miami, hearing you say Bayside, Kendall, like these neighborhoods are Kendall. I grew up. I mean, those were our first home was. And then Bayside, we were in Kendall Lakes, and now Pinecrest. But Bayside was like. Bayside, I remember when it was built, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's kind of like having more of a revival now, or more. It's different.
It's absolutely having a revival, and it's really funny. And I don't know if you remember this, Sherry, but before it was built, there was a restaurant there, and I used to go. Well, my parents used to take us when I was little for the best coconut shrimp ever, and that's why I started making coconut shrimp at my restaurant at La Cañita. I don't know if you remember that.
Well, you're not talking about Monty's. I feel like Monty's has good coconut shrimp, though. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe, probably. Monty's does it all. But no, this was actually on the site where Bayside was. There was this really good seafood restaurant. And I always just wanted the fried coconut shrimp there. I don't remember. My sister would know what it was called. My sister's a little bit older than I am, so she has a better memory of that stuff. But we always talk about it. So I was like, oh my God, I'm opening a Bayside. I got to do the coconut shrimp. Anyway, just a funny memory.
I feel like I've had it too, and I can't think of it. But yeah, now I'm craving it. Well, no, it's fantastic. So, okay, so you have all this stuff. I don't know. How are you managing it? Or how do you and David, obviously it works, this relationship. It's amazing. And he's so nice.
You have to remember, number one comes our son, right? Number one is our son. Yeah. Well, actually, if the relationship doesn't work, the kid doesn't work. So number one is the relationship. I should say that because we work on that a lot. And I mean a lot. And you have to, right? Because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have any of it. And neither would David. And we know that very well. We need each other for all of it to work. And then, for me, because I'm a mom and a wife first. So to make sure that the home base is okay. I mean, listen, I got called into school yesterday while they were closed to talk about my son's behavior. Nothing's perfect. Sorry, Zach. Didn't mean to talk about you on air. But, he's 13. He's in middle school. Oh my goodness. I never knew middle school was this difficult. Like, I don't remember it being this tragic, but I guess it was. And so that's our number one. You have to remember where you come from, right? So being a mom, being a wife, I worked really hard on that my whole life to be a good wife and to be a good mother. And so that comes first. Make sure that, I take care of that every single day and they get everything they need. And then comes everything else. When Zach is fed, when David is okay and everybody has what they need, I sit down and I start creating. Like last night, Zach had his dinner. The homework was done. David recently had a very bad accident with his arm. And so I made sure that, he was okay. Thanks. And it's been awful. So, and then I sat down in front of the computer and I started working and I started creating, and I need silence, and I need to just be able to close my eyes. And I just started to create, and on a computer, obviously typing. And then I get to come in here and I'll put my chef coat on and I'll make sure that what I was thinking is going to work. And I need the help of the guys in the kitchen to help me do that, and girls, of course. And you need people, you need a village. Like Amanda, my assistant, who I'm looking at right now, she does not looking at. Like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be plugged into you right now. She's my extension. She's been with me, 17 years?
15, I
15.
think, this year.
You sure?
I think so.
Okay. 15 years.
Yeah.
I know, right? I don't know why she likes to be next to me. Oh my goodness. I must be a nightmare, but she is, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't make my meetings. I wouldn't get to where I need to go. There's a lot of connections made, right? And so you need a village. I can't do any of it without all of the incredible, chefs that work at the restaurants and the dishwashers. I was the dishwasher here the other night because my dishwasher they didn't make it. And so you got to play dishwasher. And so it is what it is, I feel like we're all, just everybody's the glue that keeps it together, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we got to take a break, but TV. No, I know. We can keep going. But TV, when did that, just touch on that a little bit. Like, is that something that just came naturally, or like you just got an opportunity? Is something you really wanted to do?
Never wanted it. Never wanted it. So I'm very shy. And I don't love how I look on television. I've been told by many people, by the way, you shouldn't do TV because you don't look great on television. Well, whatever. Bobby Flay.
Yeah, whatever.
People are funny.
Amazing.
So Bobby Flay came to Tantra. I was the chef of a restaurant called Tantra in South Beach back in the day. And I want to say that this was 1998. I might be off a year. And he came in and he wanted to film a night at Tantra. The place was super trendy. It was crazy. It was sexy, but also a little dirty. And it was all kinds of things to a lot of different people. But it was one of my biggest first breaks as a chef. And he said, can I come and film? I guess he spoke to the owners or something. And he came in one day and he came in the kitchen and we filmed together. And, I think I was so busy that I didn't have time to be nervous because I was seating like 500 people that night for dinner. And at the end of it, he's like, you were really good at that. And I hear like a roll of the R's. Are you possibly a little Latin? Because you sure don't like look it, or your name doesn't say you are, but I can tell that you might be. I said, well, yes, we're Argentinian. And we went into it. I get a call about a year later from Food Network, a producer. Bobby Flay told us we should hire you for this show. It's called Melting Pot. And we have a lot of different melting pots. And you would do our Nuevo Latino. And I was like, okay, but I live in Miami. How is this going to work? And they said, well, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. They flew me to New York. It wasn't yet at Chelsea Market. It was somewhere else. I don't even remember. And they put me with Aaron Sanchez, who had a lot of experience and I had none. And we just went for it. And I worked there for a couple of years until it was kind of starting to affect my work at home. And that was when I was working at the Mandarin Oriental. And I'd always made the decision that was what I wanted. My dream, my goal was to be a chef. which I didn't think ever was going to be possible because it was a long and really tough, tedious road. But I had finally gotten to where I wanted to get at that point in my life and my career, and I didn't want anything to affect it. And so I had to cut out the travel and go back to work.
Got it. But you've incorporated TV. I mean, you're still doing TV.
I am. There's more no's than yeses, and I feel really humbled every time I'm asked. You know, a lot of people give me breaks, and it's fun to do, and I love the people that do it, and man, do they do it well. And yeah, of course. I mean, who doesn't, right? And I've had a lot of opportunities, and I'll take as many as I can. But I know that this is my happy place, and the kitchen is where I feel beautiful myself. It's where I've always felt beautiful, especially on the inside, and where I feel fulfilled more than anywhere else.
Well, I loved seeing you the other night when I was at Senora Martinez, and I spotted you behind the line, and you were like, I don't want to say in the weeds, but like you were like busy.
No, it was in the weeds.
Time.
It was in the weeds. Yeah.
But you looked up, you looked at me in your genuine smile, and
do you know what I really was thinking?
What?
Can I curse lightly?
Sure.
Oh shit. Why is she here so early on? I needed to be better, and I'm not ready for her to be at this restaurant yet. So yeah, that's what I was thinking when I saw you. Like, oh man, not yet, Sherry. No, not in a bad way. No, I know, but I just, you know, when people like I really love, like I wouldn't have let my parents, if they were still alive, I would not have let them come in until probably last week because I finally.
And I was, you know, I flew down to warm up from the New York City winter. So I was only there for 2 nights. And I'm so glad I came in, and it was fantastic. And I'll come back. And I just wanted to see you. I just wanted to like give you a hug and be like, you go, girl.
Sorry I wasn't able to come and hang out with you. I was the saute cook that night, and I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it was amazing, and I loved it, and I will be back, and I'm glad the revival is back. I'm sure Miami's embracing it, and
yeah, it's been wonderful. People have been really kind, like really, really kind, and those that I know did not probably have what I would consider the best experience our first 2 weeks are now coming back, and they're like, oh my God, yes, you know, you got it now. So we are really finding our groove, and you know, the opening of any new restaurant is tough, but there was a lot riding on this one, right? Especially within us, you know, to bring something back that has such amazing memories for so many people. And so we're so thrilled to have it, and it's been really incredible. And it really has taught me so much, and it feels good to be working a line again, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I loved being there, and I'm sorry if I came too early, but I felt I wanted to be there.
Not on you, it's on me.
Okay, one more question before we take a break is, what's your chef advice? You know, I had a book come out called Chef Wise, and I love asking chefs their top chef advice. So
keep your humility. You're going to need it every single minute.
All right.
You know, you're only as good as that last dish you put out at the end of the night.
Fantastic. Great advice. And on that note, let's take a little break, and then we will come back. We'll play my speed round. We'll talk industry news and my solo dining experience and the final question. So stay with us. This is All in the Industry. For all you aspiring chefs, bakers, and food entrepreneurs out there, have you considered taking your passion to the next level? Maybe you dream of opening your own restaurant, becoming a pastry chef extraordinaire, or even a sommelier. Whatever your culinary aspiration, the Institute of Culinary Education, ICE, can help you turn it into reality. At its campuses in New York City and Los Angeles, ICE offers fast-track programs in a variety of areas, from culinary arts to pastry and baking, to restaurant management, hospitality management, and even sommelier training. And you can graduate in as little as 8 months. Did you know that some of the top-name chefs and industry professionals that you've met right here on All in the Industry are ICE graduates? That's right. Stars like Gail Simmons, Andrew Ridgie, and Missy Robbins all hone their craft at ICE. Ready to pursue your dreams and find your culinary voice? Visit ice.edu today. That's ice.edu. Welcome back to All in the Industry. I'm your host and producer, Sherry Bayer. My guest today is Michelle Bernstein. She's a James Beard award-winning chef and restaurateur with multiple concepts in Miami, including Senora Martinez, Cafe La Trova, Sweet Liberty, and La Canita. And she also has Michelle Bernstein Catering. You're doing a lot. Amazing. Okay, it's time for my speed round. So what this is I'm going to name a couple things and you got to pick your preference, such as chocolate or vanilla. Okay, so here we go. Eat in at home or eat out at a restaurant?
Home.
Indoor dining or al fresco dining?
Al fresco dining, as long as it's not summertime in Miami.
Summertime seems to have gotten longer, right?
Oh my God. Everywhere. Yeah.
Wine, beer, cocktail, spiritless drink, or champagne?
Wine.
Tasting menu or a la carte?
A la carte.
Small plates or large plates?
Small plates.
Communal table or chef's counter?
Chef's counter.
Tipping or all-inclusive charge?
Tipping.
Okay, I got a few more. Cooking for your husband, David, or having him cook for you? Does he cook?
Not very much. Probably because I'm much faster than he is cooking for my husband, David.
Okay. Croquetas or empanadas or something else delicious on your menu? They're all delicious.
Empanada.
Empanada. Last two are cheese plate or dessert.
Ooh, I think cheese plate. I am getting old.
Wait, cheese is for older people?
No, but you know how, like, when you're a kid, you really just dessert, and that's been that way for most of my life. But in the last year or two, I've switched over to the more savory. So cheese plate.
Okay, cheese plate. And last one is Miami or New York City.
Ay, Dios mío, I
Manhattan
have to
as
say
well.
Miami.
Yeah.
I have to say Miami.
Miami. Well,
Miami, but it's also your Miami.
true. I love that I'm from Miami. I mean, I feel I was born there. Is what I know.
No, you're a Miami girl. You're definitely a Miami girl. For
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I don't know. I've been to New York a while, but I still call Miami home. So,
I get that.
yeah. Okay, that's the game. We got the speed of that. That was fun.
I like that.
Yeah, cool. I always like playing. Okay, so industry news. Let's talk about what's coming up this weekend. It's the South Beach Wine and Food Festival, which is its 24th annual event, which is incredible. I don't know. I don't count how many I've been to, but
I do.
you do have. I feel I've been to probably close to 20, but at least 15. What about you?
I have cooked in every single South Beach Wine and Food Festival since inception.
There you go. That's amazing. Congratulations. I mean, yeah.
Isn't it congratulations?
No, I mean, Lee Schrager, it's incredible to see how this festival has grown because myself, I've participated different ways, whether just attending or covering it on this podcast, having clients involved. The official name is the Food Network South Beach Wine and Food Festival, presented by Capital One, and it's returning February 20th to 23rd, which is this weekend. So what are you doing this year? I know you have one big event.
So my big event is actually an event that David and I we came up with, and we're excited, along with Gio, a good friend of ours. The three of us came up with Noche Cubana. It's the first time, well, we started it last year. The first time the event actually has a Cuban event, and it's about time, right? So we pick some of our favorites. Whoever can obviously come and cook with us. Restaurants from a lot of them around, like either Flagler or Cayocho 8th Street, and some amazing bartenders. And of course, we have a little bar representing Cafe La Trova as well. And music, we bring our Grammy Award-winning band from Cafe La Trova, and here at Senora Martinez and La Canita de El. kind of work together, and they're all coming to play. And so there's dancing, there's great food, there's great cocktail, and everybody said it was one of the most fun events they had been to at the festival. And so we're doing it again. It's a late night event. It's happening this Saturday. It starts at 10. We're kind of after a lot of the other events, and it is so much fun. And so I'll be cooking there. Actually, La Cañita and La Trova, Café La Trova, are both cooking there. So I'll be running back and forth.
Amazing. Yeah, well, this festival has so many events, and from day to late night, and I find it can be almost a little overwhelming because there's so much happening, but so much talent. I mean,
there's a lot to choose from. There's really a lot to choose from.
There's something for everyone. I mean, and it's
100%.
The festival has Food Network personalities, Grammy-winning musicians. It has more than 400 plus chefs coming. I'm going to a few things. I know on Saturday night, I'm excited. I'm going to be going to the tribute dinner that they're doing for Dominique and Gerard Bertrand. And that's hosted by Master of Ceremonies, Marcus Samuelson. I'm excited for that. I've only gone to the tribute dinner once before.
You need to go to next year's as well.
Oh, okay. Whatever that teaser is, I'm excited about it.
All you have to do is look on Lee Schrager's social media, and you'll know why.
Okay. Well, everyone can go see what we're talking about, but I have a feeling I know who might be honored at that dinner now, and that's exciting. So their website is SOBEWFF.org. That's SOBEWFF.org. And the festival has raised more than $40 million in support of its mission to eat, drink, and educate. And 100% of the net proceeds from the festival benefit students at the Chaplin School of Hospitality and Tourism Management at FIU. So I'm excited to be coming down and warm up. And
can you come and dance with us a little bit after your beautiful dinner?
I'd love to. I'll be nearby. I see your events at the Kimpton Surf Club.
It's at the Kimpton Hotel. Yeah. Which is beautiful, and it's all outdoors. And I'd love you to come.
Yeah, that would be fun because my dinner. I mean, the dinner I'm excited about, and Dominique is. Yeah, I'm a big.
Dominique Crenn is the best. There's nobody better. It's incredible.
Chefs, doing different courses, and
your
event is sounds like the place to be, the party.
Well, it's kind of like the perfect thing. You're going to this, incredible upscale, serious dinner with some of the best chefs in the world, and then you come and party with us.
All right, I'm in. I will see you there.
Okay.
And congratulations to Lee and everyone involved. I mean, I've always been amazed with this production, how wonderfully produced it is, considering how many events are happening all at once, all around the city. And the team between Randy Fisher at Cream and they do such an amazing job that they make it seem easy. And these events,
they seem effortless, but I know I've seen a lot of the work behind the scenes, and the planning starts the day after they finish the festival.
Yeah,
it's really incredible.
Yeah,
it's a whole year, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's seamless, and there are so many incredible people that put so much effort into it. So it's pretty amazing. Lee's incredible, and all of his staff and all of the extended staff that work together. I've always been in awe.
Yeah, me too. And Lee is usually really good, even with the NYC Wine and Food Festival that they are also already in the works for, because it's 6 months later, but in getting good weather. I feel like there was one year it was 50 and we were freezing for Miami.
Yeah.
Beyond that,
well, I've seen everything. I've seen every side of that, festival. With cold, extreme heat, rain, but we're usually pretty good. We're usually pretty lucky.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good time of year here.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I and a lot of people typically come down too, because coming down in February, it's a beautiful time to be in Miami.
Oh, it's 75 degrees outside. It's stunning.
Well, I'm excited. I will see you soon this weekend. And
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
so we have two more things. We got my solo dining experience and the final question. So I'm going to go through my solo dining, and feel free to chime in if you have any input, because this week it's at Itame AO. Not sure if you're familiar, but here's the rundown.
Of course, Itame is very well known. Yeah.
All right, cool. So the location is 3225 Northeast First Avenue in Midtown Miami, Florida. The concept, it's a contemporary Nikkei chef's counter experience, serving an omakase menu of Japanese and Peruvian bites. Its sister restaurant is Maddie's next door, which is contemporary Peruvian restaurant. And last year at Sobe, I actually went to Maddie's for a collab dinner that they did. And I've been there before, and I've covered it on the show too.
And the chef is Valerie Cheng's brother.
Yes, that's Chef and owner Nando.
Nando is delightful. What a good man.
I've met him before. So why did I go? Because I had been to the original Itame when it opened at the Mia Market.
In the Design District.
Yeah, that market. And I remember going, not knowing anything about it, and having the most amazing ceviche. And I've told Nando this. I was sold immediately on it, and their concept, they've done really well.
So I used to work with their dad.
Oh, really? Amazing.
David, my husband, and I used to work with their father at the Mandarin Oriental. He was a sushi chef. Still is a sushi chef. Still helps them today.
Yeah, I knew family business with Val, Nando, their dad. And I was looking back in 2019 on episode 236. I talked about my solo dining experience at the original Itame. So this is their new version of it. And I went the next night after Senor Martinez when I was in Miami. So my experience, I was in part of the first seating, which is at 7. It's about 10-seat counter. And I had a nice seat in the corner. Nando was there cooking and with his prep team. It's like an intimate space. Very well executed. It was a really nice experience. I got to see Val too, who was next door. So I had a great time. So what did I get? It's a seasonal tasting menu of about 10 courses featuring dry-aged fish, sashimi, nigiri, anticuchos, aguadito, and dessert. Couple of the pieces. There was 2 sushi nigiri pieces. One was salmon and scallop. There were a few crudo. One dish that was stone crab with crab risotto, and dessert. There was a lucuma flan.
Lucuma.
What's that? Say it again. Lucuma. I need you for my pronunciation of everything on the show, by the way. I
can sit next to you and I can just be your interpreter.
We could do that. I think that could be my next calling or my next series. I say things in my language and then you say it the way it's supposed to sound.
By all means.
But anyways, it was fantastic. It was a good, substantial amount of food. And I also got to drink with my meal. I had this kombucha oolong tea. It was by BTG Unified Ferments. It was nice. So my take, it was a wonderful experience. The ambiance, so it's a simplistic, light room. It's a rectangular shape. It has windows up front. It attaches to Maddie's at the side and the back. That's actually how you enter. And the chef's counter is a yellow and white charcoal tile mosaic. That's the word. Chef's counter. So on the side of the restaurant, they have these dry-aged lockers where they have these giant fish that they're flown in from Japan. So it's a nice space.
Val's restaurant's beautiful, and the whole Chang family. I mean, they're not only so talented, but they're also just so warm. Val is one of my favorite people in Miami. They're really incredible. I deserve every bit of it.
100%. This restaurant, I'd say, is perfect for solo or a date just by the seating. And my interesting tidbit is that Itame AO, the reason it's called AO is it translates to blue in Japanese, and that indicates that the restaurant centered around the ocean or seafood. And my personal fun fact, so I did an interview with Val last year, episode 381, at the restaurant. And I also caught her at the James Beard Awards last year, where she won Best Chef South, which was what you got too. So she got the title in 2024. So you guys got that together in common. And she's a sweetheart.
The only women in South Florida get it.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love seeing her success and Nando's success. And I love their relationship too, because when they talk about each other
They're
too,
very close.
they have so much
Yeah.
respect. Um,
So much love.
yeah, very talented family, fantastic restaurants. The cost of this meal, the tasting is $165. That was not including my drink or a 20% service charge and tax. Would I go back? Yes. Their Instagram is itameao.com and Instagram at itameao, and that's ITAMAEAO. All right. Have you done the itameao experience? Or you probably haven't had
I haven't had time. I haven't had time. I haven't seen Val since the restaurant opened. We went in. I don't go out to eat. I just haven't been able to. Not that I don't want to. I'd love to. I just haven't.
Yeah.
It's been hard
Right.
because if I'm not here, I'm home doing homework with my son or cooking for them at home. And no, there hasn't been a lot of social activity going on around here.
Well, when you get a chance, try to go.
I will. No, I have to. Itame was one of my favorite restaurants. Always
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
But that was before I started working more again.
Yeah, no, I know it's hard. And that area too, the Midtown area, that's one thing being from Miami and my visits down, just seeing how these areas keep expanding and developing.
It's
and
wild.
It's like
It's
a
crazy.
lot happening around there.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome. Okay, so they're awesome. People, check it out if you can. And it's time for the final question. So I have an upcoming guest that I'm going to ask you to ask a question for, and it's Rick Smilo. He's the chairman and CEO of the Institute of Culinary Education, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. Rick has been with the school for 30 years. He took it over from Peter Kump, who founded the school in 1975. And this is Rick's 30th anniversary with the school as the principal owner. Both amazing milestones. So Michelle, can you ask a question for Rick? It can be anything.
I'd love to, because let's face it, a lot of the culinary students have changed throughout the years. The attitudes have changed. There's so much social media, and I feel like they're learning so much quicker because there's more information thrown at them. So how do you prepare these young adults for what is happening now in the industry? How do you prepare them, and how do you teach them how to kind of slow down a little bit and try to kind of just enjoy the learning process? Because everyone is in such a hurry to become a chef. They feel like, they get out of school and immediately it's time. So how do you teach them to slow down a minute? How do you teach them to just absorb everything they possibly can before the moment that they take on that actual chef position? Because once you do, let's face it, there's no going backwards.
That is a great question. Great questions to ask him.
You.
Yeah, no, it's great. So I'm going to find out. And
Thank you.
Rick is great. I actually had him on my show in 2018. I was looking back, it was episode 185, but it's 7 years ago. I'm like, a lot's changed even in that amount of time, right? So,
I did a dinner at the Peter Kump School once, and
really?
Jacques Pepin was there. I mean, all the guys were there. Saltner was there. It was one of the biggest experiences in my career, and I was so giddy. I didn't know everyone was going to be there, and so I was just there to do my food, and all of a sudden I come out and all these people that you dream of meeting are there, and they're eating my food, and I'm just like, oh my God, why didn't anybody tell me to prepare for this? I don't know what I would have changed, but I probably would have changed something. But it was so amazing. It was so much energy in that whole space, and everyone that goes to that school is so prepared. And I was kind of miffed, it was just an amazing, amazing experience.
Amazing. Well,
yeah.
I wish we had more time. I wish we could just go on and spend the whole afternoon together. But thank you so much for joining me. You're incredible.
Pleasure.
And I just am grateful that I've known you for a long time, and we've maintained a friendship over these years through our love for the restaurant
Everything
industry.
Culinary.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
And
You're the best, Sherry.
Aw, thank you. You've
always
really
been so kind and so real, and you've never changed, thank goodness. And you just, thank goodness for you.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. And I mean, I don't know, I come up with these tips for all these shows, but I was like, I couldn't believe I've never told people that they should smile. But every time I look at you, you have the most genuine smile. And also, my tip, I didn't want to say people should have a forced smile or tell people to
No.
smile, because that's not the tip. It has to come from the heart. And I feel every time I see you, you have this warm, genuine smile that comes from the heart. And I think that shines through everything you do and why you've been.
I love people. I've just loved people, and I love to serve people, and if I don't have a smile, there's a reason.
Well, good to know. And I'm glad that when I see you, I've been getting the bright smile. So thank you.
Kiss your parents for me, please.
I will. I'm going to see them soon. And I know they're fans of yours too. They know you're cooking, and they always like when I suggest that we're going to go to a Michelle Bernstein restaurant tonight.
Thank you.
So thank you. I will see you this weekend, and congratulations on all your success. It's all so well deserved.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
So my guest today has been Michelle Bernstein. She's the chef restaurateur of Senor Martinez, Cafe La Trova, Sweet Liberty, La Canita, and Michelle Bernstein Catering. Two of her websites, she's got sramartinezmiami.com, senormartinezmiami.com, and mbcmiami.com. Is there another website or anything you want me to plug?
Yeah. Well, you could just look for me at Mishi.
And social at
Chef Mishi, sorry.
At Chef
Mishi.
Yeah, on social,
what I was.
Chef Mishi. Yeah, follow Michelle. You'll find out all about all of her different concepts. And for South Beach, you can follow at SOBEWFF, and their website is SOBEWFF.org. And you can follow me at Sherry Bayer at Bayer PR and at All Industry. My YouTube channel and Facebook page are All in the Industry. And all of our shows are archived at allintheindustry.com and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can check out my other websites, BayerPublicRelations.com and SherryBayer.com. And my book is Chefwise, and that's available wherever books are sold. Thanks to the Institute of Culinary Education for their support of this episode. To learn more, you can go to ice.edu. And thanks to my engineer today, Armin. Thanks to Katie and Amanda, and again to Michelle. I am your host and producer, Sherry Bayer. I will be back soon with a new show. Hope you'll tune in then. And thank you as always for being part of All in the Industry. Bye. All in the Industry is an independent podcast hosted and produced by Sherry Bayer. Follow us on Instagram at All Industry and on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, All in the Industry. Subscribe to our show wherever you listen to your podcasts so you don't miss any new episodes. To learn more, visit allintheindustry.com.